Hi, I'm Kaja.
And I'm Joanna.
And this is Starlit Citadel Reviews.
For the Crown is a deck-building abstract game designed by Jeremy Leonard and published by Victory Point Games.
In For the Crown, players fight to capture their opponent's king and use their deck of cards to build and upgrade their units. It's a 2-player game that lasts an hour or less. There's also an expansion, All the King's Men, which introduces 2 variants, a long game and a 4-player team game.
Each player starts For the Crown with a deck of 6 peon cards and 4 guard cards. The champion, clergy, tower, and consort stacks are placed face up on the table, and then 10 other card stacks are chosen randomly and added to this supply along with their matching tokens. Each player places a king of their color on the marked space at their end of the board. They draw a starting hand of 5 cards and the game begins.
Each player's turn is divided into 4 phases: order, action, buy, and housekeeping. The order phase lets you issue 1 order to one of the units that you have on the board, and this order can be to march, attack, or deploy.
Marching lets you move your unit into an empty square, following the movement rules that are listed on that unit's card. Movement is blocked as soon as you come up against another unit. Leaping units cannot be blocked midway through their movement. If a foot-based unit reaches the other end of the board, they are immediately promoted into any other available unit of your choice.
Attacking lets your unit move into an enemy unit's space, capturing it and sending its token back to the supply. Deployment lets you move a unit from your barracks area into the first row of the board, or into the first 1 or 2 rows if it's a foot class unit.
Some cards may also allow you to give orders, so you can play these during the order phase instead. Now, orders usually apply to a specific class of unit, so foot, heavy, mounted, pious, regal, or sovereign. Some order cards also give you another order, which you must use immediately.
In the action phase, you can play 1 card and then take the action that it lists. And this might let you draw or cycle cards, earn extra money, or take extra actions. Now, a training action is a special action that lets you trash your card, which removes it permanently from the game, and in exchange, you get a unit token of the matching type. This goes in your barracks, and it can be deployed in future order phases.
In the buy phase, you can play any cards from your hand for their gold value, and add that total to any gold that you earned during previous phases. You add up that gold and use it to buy 1 card from the supply. Now, if you played an action card that allows you to have more than 1 buy action, then you can split that gold amongst 2 cards from the supply. Any cards that you buy go directly into your discard pile.
In the housekeeping phase, all of the cards that you played that turn, as well as anything left in your hand, goes in the discard pile, and then you draw a new hand of 5 cards. Then it's the next player's turn.
The game ends when one player ends their turn without a sovereign class unit on the board. That player loses the game.
So I really enjoyed playing For the Crown, and I wasn't really expecting to. I love 2-player abstract games, but I don't really enjoy chess. And since this is effectively a chess variant, I wasn't expecting to get all that much out of it. That being said, the variations that it does add really contribute a lot to the game, and I ended up enjoying it a lot. There are so many tight resource management elements that the deck building adds that really contribute to the depth and the interactivity of the game. I love the way that the training actions force you to decide how long you're going to hang on to a card, because a lot of the times the other action on a card that provides units is really beneficial, and you want to keep it in your deck for long enough that you really get the benefit, but you also don't want to deprive yourself of a unit that you need to win the game that's on the board, which is ultimately the only game that matters. I also love the fact that you and your opponent are drawing from the same pool of available units, so that your strategy can include not only destroying their pieces, but also depriving them of getting certain piece types in the first place, which can really break up some interesting card synergies and other abilities that they've got going on. That the way that the deck building is used to support this game, I think, is really fantastically executed, and it turns what would be a somewhat interesting chess variant with some extra pieces into a really tight, fast, engaging, and challenging game. The one challenge that I found with it that was a little bit less interesting to me was the fact that you've got so many units that move in so many different ways, and some of those are familiar because they're taken right from chess, and some of them aren't. They're moving in ways you've never seen before. And there isn't really an easy way of remembering how your units move, because all of the information about them is put on the cards that you have to trash to get them in the first place. So there's a little bit of a learning curve involved, not in getting your head around the rules, which are quite simple, but in remembering what all of the units do, which is going to take you a while, especially because there's so many different kinds.
So another weakness of this game, I would say, is the visual design. A lot of care and a lot of effort went into the gameplay. Not a lot of care and effort went into the component design and the art and the color choice. Now, these components are tough, don't worry, you're not going to break them. They are certainly not going to fall apart on you. But it is always nice when you see a game that's just put a little bit of extra time and effort into things like color choice and artistic choice and design and that sort of thing. And that definitely is a little lacking here. However, that being said, I also really enjoyed this game. I'm also a big fan of abstract games. I'm not a huge fan of deck builders, but the nice combination between the abstract spatial element and the deck building meant that I had a really good time. It wasn't just a deck builder, it was something really interesting and different. And it's very different every time you play. You've got a lot of different decks that you can put in your supply. There's a lot of different units that move in a variety of different ways, so your strategy is going to be different every time you play, especially since you've also got another person to work off, so you have to constantly adjust as to what they're doing as well. And, like chess, this game is simple to learn and has an incredibly deep strategy to it. So you could spend a very long time playing this game with a bunch of different people and you won't really figure it out, because that's exactly what it is a strategy game. So it's going to take a lot of thought, and if you're the kind of person who really loves to puzzle over that kind of thing, those sort of games, then you are going to have so much fun here with For the Crown.
Do you feel like somebody's watching us?